Genghis Khan aimed to capture Turkan Khatun, mother of Sultan Muhammad Khwarezmshah. Despite warnings, she fled to Turkmenistan, executing those who threatened her power. Genghis Khan's forces besieged Ilan Castle, killing her allies. Sultan Jalal ad-Din resisted, gathering troops, and even defeating Mongols at Parwan. However, betrayals weakened him, forcing him to flee. Though Jalal ad-Din crossed the Sind River, his family perished. Genghis Khan's forces expanded through Asia, but Jalal ad-Din continued fighting until his eventual disappearance. Genghis Khan also passed away in 1227 AD for unknown reasons. The Mongols ruled for 120 years until Iranian uprisings ended their dominance. In the previous article, we had reached the point where Genghis Khan had approached the city of Gorgan, but his main goal was to capture Turkan Khatun. Turkan Khatun was the mother of Sultan Muhammad Khwarezmshah. Before his passing, Sultan Muhammad had sent a letter to his mother. He was aware that Genghis Khan would come to those regions. He had asked his mother to leave the area as soon as possible and not be deceived by Genghis Khan, as he was pursuing a massive slaughter. Sultan Muhammad also advised his mother to quickly leave Gorgan and head towards Great Khorasan. As soon as Turkan Khatun received the letter, she, along with her descendants, the remaining followers of Khwarezmshah, and the allies she had, left the region. She journeyed to the refuge of the Karakorum Turkmen tribe in Turkmenistan. There was also a person named Omar Khan present there, who was also a Turkmen and was supposed to guide these individuals through the heart of the desert. However, before this, Turkan Khatun had devised a plan. She felt that in the future, there might be individuals within the mausoleum of the Khwarezmshahs who would cause problems for the Khwarezmshah princes. For this reason, she took with her those individuals who were loyal to her and were intended to sit on the throne of Khwarezmshah. The others who were not favored by her were given orders to be executed, and she commanded the executioner to drown 27 young men and adolescents who were in the court of the Khwarezmshahs in the Amu Darya. The executioner tied heavy stones and iron shackles to their feet and drowned them. On the other hand, Omar Khan managed to guide Turkan Khatun and her followers to a fortress called Ilan Castle. While Omar Khan was asleep, he was also assassinated upon Turkan Khatun's orders. Meanwhile, Genghis Khan's spies had spread across Iran and informed him that there was no need to go to Gorgan anymore. They were actively searching for Turkan Khatun and had already found her. Genghis Khan and his followers moved towards Ilan Castle and besieged it. It took some time, and after a period of hunger and thirst, the residents of the castle were pressured to surrender to the Mongol forces. The Mongols entered the castle and executed all the individuals present there. As a result, many of the princes that Turkan Khatun had brought along to continue the Khwarezmshah dynasty were decapitated by the order of Genghis Khan. Before the castle fell or even before it was besieged, many of the inhabitants within the castle had requested Turkan Khatun to send reinforcements to Sultan Jalal ad-Din, as he and the Turkmen forces were still resisting. However, Turkan Khatun did not have a good relationship with the Turkmen, and for this reason, she didn't feel comfortable helping Sultan Jalal ad-Din. Turkan Khatun and Sultan Jalal ad-Din had strained relations because Jalal ad-Din's mother was a Turkmen. After the fall of the castle, Turkan Khatun fell into the captivity of the Mongols. She had a good singing voice and could perform sorrowful songs well. Genghis Khan ordered that Turkan Khatun's singing be utilized for the Mongol gatherings. Following the death of his father, Sultan Jalal ad-Din, along with his two stepbrothers, Ozlak Shah and Ark Shah, sought refuge in Gorgan. Sultan Jalal ad-Din intended to strengthen the resistance once again from Gorgan. he decided to go to the city and announce that his father had chosen him as the heir. He also brought his stepbrothers to confirm this statement. Jalal-ed-Din aimed to establish a new resistance front. Upon their arrival in Gorgan, they went to the central square, and Sultan Jalal-ed-Din began to address the people of Gorgan. However, the people of Gorgan did not accept this claim. Despite Ozlak Shah's confirmation of the statement, the people did not approve of these claims. Jalal-ed-Din and the remaining Khwarezmians did not hold much power. Gorgan had fallen into the hands of Turkic smugglers, and they had no desire for the presence of the Khwarezmians in the region. After a while, Inal Shah himself arrived in Gorgan to try to convince the people to accept Sultan Jalal-ed-Din as the heir, but he also failed to persuade anyone. Eventually, a night came when some people of Gorgan sought to assassinate Jalal-ed-Din. When Sultan Jalal-ed-Din saw this situation, he gathered around 300 of his Turkmen supporters and told them, "This city is a den of snakes and rats, a city that even in these delicate circumstances seeks chaos and is ready to betray us." Eventually, during the night, he and his 300 Turkmen supporters left Gorgan and headed south. Sultan Jalal-ed-Din and his followers arrived in the city of Nisa, located in Turkmenistan. There, they engaged with Mongol forces in the foothills of Mount Köbekdağ and managed to defeat the Mongols. A few days later, Ozlak Shah and Ok Shah also left Gorgan out of fear of the Khwarezmian robbers and went towards Nisa to join their brother. However, in the same mountainous region, they became trapped by the Mongols and were killed by them. Sultan Jalal-ed-Din continued his journey without stopping, passing through Nishapur and Herat and arriving in the city of Bost. There, he gathered a large army and defeated the Mongols, who were besieging Kandahar. Afterward, he went to Ghazni. In Ghazni, he added 30,000 Turkmen cavalry to his forces, and a few days later, another 20,000 individuals from Greater Khorasan, who were Afghans, joined Sultan Jalal-ed-Din's army. He had approximately 60,000 cavalry and was in the process of forming a powerful army. He and his forces then headed towards Turkestan, a province between Balkh and Badakhshan. In that region, they faced the Mongol forces, and a harsh battle ensued. As a result of this battle, thousands of Mongol horsemen lost their lives, and Sultan Jalal-ed-Din emerged victorious. Later, one of those very Mongols wrote a letter in his own handwriting to deliver to Genghis Khan, informing him that his troops had suffered defeat here. Genghis Khan formed a resistant force of 40,000 troops and entrusted the leadership of his army to his half-brother, Shigikuku. Genghis Khan instructed Shigikuku to confront Jalal-ed-Din and his forces head-on and to capture the city of Balkh, handing it over to the Mongol forces. These were the two objectives he had in mind for these 40,000 Mongol cavalries. The Mongol and Khwarezmian horsemen met on a plain called Parwan, near Ghazni, and the famous Battle of Parwan unfolded between these two armies. Sultan Jalal-ed-Din displayed an extraordinary initiative during this battle. In the first 2 days, the Iranian forces fought on foot while the Mongols were mounted on horses. After 2 days, the Mongols and their horses grew tired. It was now the turn of the Khwarezmian horsemen and their black horses. They mounted their horses and charged at the Mongol forces, managing to break through their ranks, killing a considerable number of Mongols. The slaughter of the Mongols continued, and at last, the Mongols began to retreat. A portion of the Mongol forces that had been supposed to capture Balkh were already besieging the city. However, when they saw the Khwarezmian forces, they abandoned the siege, turning Balkh into a death trap for the Mongols. They all started retreating and headed back towards Genghis Khan when they encountered his forces. Genghis Khan sent messages to the Khans who were allied with Sultan Jalal-ed-Din, promising them great riches and rewards if they withdrew their support for him. Genghis Khan offered to send them camels laden with gold and jewels and promised to make them immensely wealthy from head to toe. This scheme eventually worked, and every day, a significant number of Sultan Jalal-ed-Din's troops defected from his camp to Genghis Khan's side. As a result, Sultan Jalal-ed-Din's camp became increasingly isolated and deserted. New troubles arose, and the situation deteriorated further as distrust and betrayal spread among the ranks. Ultimately, a considerable number of Turkmens and Afghan leaders fell into the hands of Genghis Khan's Mongol forces and were decapitated and executed. Sultan Jalal-ed-Din realized that there was no way forward, and no matter how much he pleaded with his troops not to defect to Genghis Khan's camp, they continued to betray him. Despite his warnings that it was a deception, no one paid attention. When he saw his own camp becoming more and more deserted, Sultan Jalal-ed-Din understood that with such a diminished number of soldiers, he couldn't face the Mongols in open battle. Consequently, he decided to abandon the region and head south. Sultan Jalal-ed-Din intended to guide his family, including his concubines, mother, wife, and children, across the Send River to safety. However, as his forces dwindled, this plan became increasingly unfeasible. Upon realizing this, Genghis Khan gathered a massive force with countless soldiers, aiming to confront Jalal-ed-Din. When Genghis Khan reached Sultan Jalal-ed-Din and his companions, they were trying to cross the Send River in a makeshift boat. The river's raging waters overwhelmed the boat, preventing them from crossing. Mongol forces quickly surrounded Sultan Jalal-ed-Din and his companions from three sides. Genghis Khan ordered an attack, instructing his troops to capture Jalal-ed-Din alive. A confrontation between the limited forces of Jalal-ed-Din and the overwhelming numbers of Genghis Khan's ensued, and many of Jalal-ed-Din's companions lost their lives. Jalal-ed-Din himself mounted his horse and, with all his might, attempted to carve a path amidst the Mongol forces, eventually plunging himself and his horse into the Send River. This sight left the Mongol forces astonished as they witnessed his unwavering determination. Eventually, he successfully crossed the river with his horse, and the news reached Genghis Khan that Jalal-ed-Din had escaped. Genghis Khan remained stunned and perplexed. His advisors suggested pursuing Jalal-ed-Din, but Genghis Khan decided against it, claiming there were more pressing matters to attend to. Throughout his last journey, Sultan Jalal-ed-Din had conveyed his final wishes to his companions. He instructed them that if they were to face defeat, they should drown his wife, mother, and children in the Send River to prevent them from falling into the hands of the Mongols. When the Mongol forces gained control over the area and everything was lost, Jalal-ed-Din's companions carried out his instructions. However, the Mongols managed to capture many of these individuals. Among them was the young son of Sultan Jalal-ed-Din, who was only 7 years old. Following Genghis Khan's orders, the child was killed, his heart was removed from his body, and it was thrown to Genghis Khan's hunting dogs. After the Battle of the Send River, Sultan Jalal-ed-Din continued to move from one place to another for years, engaging in battles with the Mongols. However, he never managed to assemble a powerful army or completely reverse the Mongols' progress. Genghis Khan, on the other hand, could now breathe easier. He had nearly accomplished his goal of defeating the Khwarezmians. He instructed his son to capture Merv, and he himself, along with his 3 other sons, Joshi, Chagatai, and Ogadai, set out for Gorgan. This time, his intention was to seize control of Gorgan as well. At that time, Gorgan was governed by someone named Karma-Tarkin. The Mongols were able to capture Gorgan, and Karma-Tarkin witnessed this scene from a distance. As a result, he left the city, went to the Mongol camp at night, and requested that they spare him and allow him to peacefully take control of the city through a negotiated settlement. However, This situation wasn't in the interest of Genghis Khan's sons. Therefore, one of his sons stood up, removed Kamar-Tarkin's attire, and threw him off a cliff into the valley below. The battle took place between the forces inside the city and the Mongol forces. Based on the advice of Chinese engineers, the Mongols constructed a dam on the Amut-Arya River and then dug a canal that led to the interior of the city of Gorgan. Afterward, they prepared the equipment for siege warfare, and everything was ready for the battle. The commander stationed inside Gorgan was a man named Kara Khan Jar, who was a loyal companion of Sultan Jalaluddin. Kara Khan Jar opened the city gates and launched an attack alongside his forces towards the Mongol army. A battle ensued, during which they managed to eliminate a significant number of Mongol soldiers. Eventually, the Mongol forces retreated, and Kara Khan Jar's troops returned inside the city. After a while, the Mongols managed to use their catapults to destroy the city walls and capture several surrounding fortresses. They also destroyed the dam, allowing the waters of the Amut-Arya River to flood into the city. As a result, the city faced numerous problems, and the Mongol forces, in large numbers, entered the city. Following intense and successive clashes, the Mongols began a brutal massacre of both military and civilian populations. Seeing that continuing the fight was no longer viable, Kara Khan Jar and his fiancée, Gul Jamal, left the city to save their lives. Eventually, Gorgan fell to the Mongols. The Mongol forces also gained control over powerful cities like Nishapur, Ray, and Talakan. They then proceeded towards Lorestan, where one of the heaviest battles in Mongol history took place. The people of Lorestan stood their ground against the Mongols with unwavering resolve, but eventually, Lorestan also fell to Genghis Khan. Continuing his military campaigns and conquests, Genghis Khan sent Subutai to the Caucasus region to extend his influence there. One by one, the regions of the Caucasus fell under Mongol control, and the Mongol forces' banner was raised in those territories. The Mongols then turned their attention to the city of Kiev, situated in present-day Ukraine, and managed to capture it. They subsequently expanded into Eastern Europe, bringing a significant portion of Russia under the dominion of Genghis Khan's power. Genghis Khan instructed his followers to ensure, by any means necessary, the confirmation of Jalaluddin's death. For this reason, a considerable number of his troops were dispatched to India, as he was aware that Jalaluddin had gone to that region. These forces managed to capture cities in northern India but couldn't locate Jalaluddin. During that time, Jalaluddin was in the Punjab region, and even there, he struggled to muster a powerful force and engage with the Mongols. Kulan Khatun, the beloved wife of Genghis Khan, along with their son Kokolan, fell seriously ill. This situation deeply saddened Genghis Khan, as he had a strong affection for Kulan Khatun. Therefore, he summoned Yeluchutsai and instructed him to create the elixir of immortality for them. Yeluchutsai requested a few days' time from Genghis Khan and, after a few days, informed him that there was a wise person in China who possessed all the secrets and knowledge of remedies and could assist in producing the elixir of immortality. Genghis Khan ordered that this individual be brought to him. This person was an elderly sage named Wu Chengyan. When Wu Chengyan learned that Genghis Khan intended to meet him and that he needed to prepare for the journey, he mentioned that he was of advanced age and couldn't make his way to the court quickly. However, he assured that he would do his best to reach Genghis Khan's presence as soon as possible. Wu Chengyan's journey took 2 years, during which time his disciple recorded the events of the journey. This disciple chronicled his master's encounter with Genghis Khan in a book titled Journey to the West. Wu Chengyan himself arrived at the court of Genghis Khan and stayed in those regions for a while. After a few days, Genghis Khan went to meet Wu Chengyan with joy, and the two sides met. Genghis Khan said to the elder, "I've heard that you are a very skilled and knowledgeable individual and can produce an elixir that grants eternal life to humans. When will this elixir be ready?" The elder replied that such an elixir doesn't exist and that there are only elixirs that can make the weak strong. These words deeply resonated with Genghis Khan, as he appreciated the honesty of the elder, as most of the individuals at the court would usually lie out of fear, not speaking the truth. Genghis Khan said to the elder, "Because you told me the truth, I'm pleased with you. So, tell me how much gold, jewels, and wealth you desire, and I will give it to you." In response, the elder said, "I don't want anything from you, but I have a piece of advice for you. I want you to put an end to your relentless wars and be benevolent towards different nations and peoples. Establish peace everywhere." Genghis Khan became very angry upon hearing this advice and left the region. He intended to travel from Samarkand to the Amudarya. He also ordered that Wu Chun'an be settled in one of the palaces of the Khwarezm. He gave another order and said that Turkan Khatun, the mother of the elderly Sultan Muhammad Khwarezmshah, should lead the captives in the path of the Mongol advance and sing elegies for the fallen Khwarezm realm, so that all the Mongol forces would pass by them. Genghis Khan gathered all of his children, especially his 4 eldest sons, Joshi, Okade, Chagatai, and Tolui. He told them, "In the next 13 years, we must conquer the western regions, and these campaigns must continue." Genghis Khan then left Khwarezm and headed towards the banks of the Holan and Danon rivers. A few days later, the wise sage also left Khwarezm and returned towards China. Kulan Khatun, who had been suffering from illness, passed away after some time, which caused sadness and depression for Genghis Khan. In the year 1225 AD, the Yasar law was written by the hands of Genghis Khan. Many of these laws still exist and are being enforced. In the year 1227 AD, Genghis Khan personally went to war against the Tunguts with his army. The reason was that this tribe had been rebellious, and he already held a grudge against them. The Tunguts didn't cooperate in the war against the Iranians and refused to join forces, which further motivated Genghis Khan to wage war against them. A bloody battle ensued, resulting in the loss of many lives among the Tungut people. Their generals were executed on Genghis Khan's orders, and their princes were also decapitated. After some time, this dynasty also came to an end. In that same year, 1227 AD, Genghis Khan also passed away, but the exact cause of his death remains uncertain to this day. Some say he fell from his horse, while others claim he succumbed to an illness affecting his chest and sides. Regardless, he departed from this world at the age of 73, at the peak of his power. Before his death, Genghis Khan had instructed that his body be carried by soldiers and buried in an undisclosed location. When the soldiers buried Genghis Khan's body, on their way back home, they were ambushed and killed by unknown individuals. After some time, the burial site of Genghis Khan was trampled by numerous horses that his sons had set free in the area, ensuring no traces of the burial location remained. In the following years, vegetation grew in those areas, and to this day, almost 800 years have passed since that event. Curious explorers and researchers continue to travel to that region. Various exploration groups have gone there, but so far, they have not succeeded in finding the burial place of Genghis Khan. After some time, Jalaluddin Khwarezmshah also left India and returned to Iran from the south. He then traveled to Isfahan and managed to meet his brother, Qiyas al-Din. Together with Qiyas al-Din, he formed an army and headed towards al-Nasir, the Abbasid Caliph. The goal was to create a powerful force with al-Nasir and eliminate the Mongols together. However, instead of joining forces with Jalaluddin and his companions, al-Nasir attacked the army of Jalaluddin. A conflict emerged between the Abbasid Caliphate and the Khwarezmshahs, resulting in victory for the Khwarezmshahs. Sultan Jalaluddin managed to defeat the forces of Al-Nasser, but he still couldn't create a strong military force capable of defeating the Mongols. Afterward, Sultan Jalaluddin moved towards Georgia, and on the way, he defeated the Mongol forces that were in Tabriz. He spent some time in Tbilisi and then traveled to Kerman, and later to Ray. There, a battle emerged between the Mongol forces and the Khwarazm-Shahs, but Jalaluddin was defeated in this battle. The reason for his defeat was the betrayal of his brother. Therefore, he retreated to Isfahan again, but he did not surrender, gathered another force, and moved towards Azerbaijan. His goal was to save Azerbaijan from the Mongol forces, but he was also defeated in the Battle of Azerbaijan. This was the last time he engaged in war and conflict against the Mongol forces. After that, he was last seen in the region of Bak and was not seen again. It remains unclear what fate befell Sultan Jalaluddin. Some say he died a natural death, while others claim he was killed by the Mongol forces. In any case, he resisted until his last breath. It is even said that Genghis Khan himself always spoke favorably of Jalaluddin and remarked that it was unlikely for a father so fearful to have such a courageous son. He told his sons that if he had 100 men like Jalaluddin, he could have conquered the entire world. In the year 1258 AD, led by Hulagu Khan, who was a descendant of Genghis Khan, the Mongols were able to connect the rule of Abbasid caliphs to history by putting an end to their dynasty after 524 years. Simultaneously, the Ismaili government, located in Iran with its power center in Alamut near Qazvin, was eradicated by Hulagu Khan. Over time, the Mongol rulers became acquainted with Iranian culture and traditions. They started choosing Iranian names for their offspring, spoke in the Persian language, and gradually embraced Islam. After 120 years, a rebellion emerged against the Mongols in the city of Sabzeva, and it gradually spread throughout Iran. This uprising, which began in Great Khorasan, marked the end of the 120-year Mongol rule in Iran. Once again, the ultimate victors in this event were the Iranians themselves. If you enjoyed this video, do not forget to like it, and share it with your friends. Do not hesitate to provide your view regarding this video by putting your comments below. Your comments would help us to improve our work, and also, they help us to take your views into account for the future topics that we select. Furthermore, you can subscribe to our channel to become aware of our new videos.